We had only just arrived at the lake ranch, the morning air still cool and fresh, the pine scent wrapping around us like an old welcome memory. I hadn't been back in 5 years, not since I left for the academy, and now, I was back, not as the quiet teenager folks used to ignore, but as the newly appointed chief of special operations for the state police, though I never liked to flaunt it. Don't let Karen get away. Hit that like button if justice made you smile. Comment your thoughts and subscribe to QZ Stories for more shocking real-life drama. The small town hadn't changed much. Same cabins, same gravel roads, same people watching through curtains, whispering stories, judging strangers, and today, I was the stranger again, despite the fact I was born here, raised here, and knew every inch of these woods better than any GPS ever could. My plan was simple: spend a few quiet weeks fixing up my family's old ranch, decompress, and get away from the constant noise of the city. But I should have known peace wouldn't come easy in a town patrolled by HOA Karens in pantsuits. It started when I went to the Lake Ranch office to sort out the paperwork. The cabin deed, utility hookups, all the standard stuff, the kind of things you'd expect to take an hour, maybe two. But instead, I walked straight into a power trip with heels. She introduced herself as Mrs. Kendall, head of the HOA board, community enforcer, and as she liked to put it, the soul of this neighborhood. And from the second she saw me in my jeans and sleeveless shirt, her eyes narrowed like I was a criminal out on parole. "You don't belong here," she said, blocking the door, clipboard in hand, lips pressed in a disapproving line. And I tried to explain, calmly, that I owned the ranch, that I had the signed papers, that I had every right to be here. But she wasn't listening, because women like her never do. She wasn't interested in facts, only in authority, hers, not mine. And when I stepped around her to walk inside the building I legally had access to, she followed, demanding I leave at once, telling me I was trespassing, yelling louder with every word. Small crowd began to gather, curious faces peeking from nearby cabins, a couple tourists on bikes, slowing down to watch. And that's when she pulled out her phone and said the magic words, "I'm calling 911, right now." I could have stopped her, shown my badge, revealed everything, but I didn't, because some lessons have to be learned the hard way. So I just sat on the bench outside the ranch office and waited. She told dispatch there was a dangerous trespasser, refusing to leave HOA property. She exaggerated every detail, making her voice tremble, hoping it would bring flashing lights and handcuffs to back up her ego. Within minutes, I heard sirens. 3 patrol cars came in fast, tires skimming dust, doors flew open, and out stepped Deputy Murdoch, a guy I knew from high school, a decent officer, and a man who recognized me immediately. He stopped, looked me over, eyes blinking like he couldn't believe it. Then, with perfect posture, he saluted me, hand crisped to brow, and said, "Chief Daniels, sir." The silence that followed was thick as fog. Every head turned toward me, especially Mrs. Kendall, who suddenly looked like she'd swallowed a lemon, her phone still in hand, but trembling now. "You, Chief?" she stammered, eyes bouncing. Between me and the deputy, her voice suddenly small, uncertain, afraid of the answer she already knew was coming. I stood slowly, not angry, not gloating, just steady, calm. The kind of calm that only comes from years of dealing with actual emergencies, not HOA drama. "Yes," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "I'm the new chief of special ops, state police division, on leave, and I own the Anderson Ranch." For a second, she didn't move, didn't breathe. Then her mouth opened, but no words came out, only excuses trying to form in the back of her throat, but none made it past her lips. Murdoch cleared his throat and turned to her. "Ma'am, you filed a false report and interfered with an officer in lawful presence. That's a misdemeanor at minimum." "I didn't know," she whispered. "I just thought he was not your type." I interrupted, eyebrows raised. "Didn't look like he belonged. Didn't wear a suit, or didn't bow to your clipboard." People around us were whispering now, some laughing quietly, others just shaking their heads. And for once, the HOA queen had no throne to sit on, only a bench behind her with the words, "Recoil Stories" spray-painted from last summer's festival still fading on the wood. I turned to Murdoch. "Let it go this time, deputy. I'm not pressing charges, but I do expect the HOA board to respect state property and stop harassing lawful residents." He nodded, and slowly the patrol cars backed out, one by one, while Mrs. Kendall tried to melt into the background, but it was too late. The story was already spreading faster than fire in dry pine. Later that afternoon, I walked into the general store, just to grab coffee and a newspaper, and the old owner, Mr. Crowley, grinned when he saw me. "Heard you gave Karen Kendall a real dose of humble pie?" He chuckled. I smiled. "Just here, to fix the ranch and fish a little," I said, but he shook his head. "No, sir. This town needed someone like you, someone who remembers where they came from but earned every stripe." The next few days were quiet. No knocks on my door, no warnings, no HOA fines about mailbox height or lawn color, just peace. Finally, the kind I came back for. But what stuck with me wasn't her frozen face when the word chief hit her ears. It was how quickly authority can be twisted when it's in the wrong hands. and how people like her never expect to be called out, especially by the very system they try to manipulate. I started attending town meetings after that, not to throw weight, but to help keep things fair. And slowly, the board shifted. Younger voices joined, rules were rewritten, and that yellow pantsuit became a symbol of what used to be, not what would be. By the end of the summer, the ranch was restored, the dock rebuilt, the trails cleared, and for the first time in years, it felt like home again. Not because of the title I wore, but because I earned the respect that came with it. And Mrs. Kendall, she still lives here, quieter now, more polite, nods instead of scowls. And though we'll never be friends, she learned something vital that day. Maybe for the first time in her life, respect isn't demanded, it's earned. I didn't come here to change the town, but maybe the town needed reminding that justice isn't always in a uniform. Sometimes it's in showing restraint when you have the power to punish, and walking away when you've already won. Sometimes, the most powerful word isn't chief or sheriff, it's simply enough.